Hi and welcome. It's the Friday before Christmas, so 6 days till Christmas. We're going to have a little bit of a different show for you, for me, and the dog named Boo. So welcome to my normal Friday night live show, except this time we're actually doing it on the big channel for everybody, and we're going to be doing something different. I'm not in the Christmas room. So where the heck am I? I'm actually in the kitchen. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make some bread live on the air. So it's a little bit weird. Okay, so let's just check everything real quick. Number one, you're looking at the Nikon ZR. So this is the ZR camera. We're in the kitchen. It is a little bit warm in here, so we're going to see if this camera poops out or if it can stand up to the heat in the kitchen. So what we're going to do is we're going to make healthy bread. I inadvertently, accidentally found myself in the bread business, because I'm making bread for everybody for Christmas. And I've had, actually it was my buddy named Jim that I want a loaf of bread, I want a loaf of bread. Okay. So he sent some money in to help for the shipping, which was very, very nice, okay. And then somebody else had heard that I'm gonna ship out some bread. So I'm in business without even trying. This wasn't intentional, okay? And it might not last, I don't know. So I figured we'll make the loaf of bread, all right? And we'll use the new Nikon ZR camera, and we'll see how it goes. So this is the ZR. This is the regular view. This is a close-up view. And then I have the regular kitchen camera, which is another Nikon ZFC. This is the regular view, and this is the close-up view. But tonight we're going to spend most of our time on the ZR, because that is the hot camera on the internet. So I do have an overhead camera, so I'm going to show you something now. So first thing I'm going to do is this machine right here is going to actually, let's make sure we're all snapped in. All right, this is going to be a little bit noisy, all right? So I'm going to put 3 cups of wheat. So when I say wheat, this is not something you can buy in your Publix or your grocery store. This is really wheat, okay? And this is the healthy part. When the Bible says to eat wheat, this is what it's talking about. It's talking about real wheat, where it has all 3 parts. It's got the endosperm, which is where the starch is. It's got the brand, which is where the fiber is. And it's got the germ, which is where the vitamins are. So I need to get this going because we'll have time to talk while the bread rises. So let me put this in here and we'll start. It's going to be a little noisy for a second, but keep your pantyhose on. You'll survive. Okay, so I'm putting 1, 2, 3 cups of flour, and I'll put the rest of it in here too, okay? I can use this flour. Now this is being milled by the mill in the pastry setting. So we are in the pastry setting, and it's making flour for me to use, if that will stay down, making flour for me to use, okay, to put into the bread machine. So the next step, as soon as this is done, yes, I washed my hands, so do wash your hands. That becomes actually very important. So I'll bring it back to when we're almost done so you can see it going down into the into the hopper. Okay, so here we go. It's getting close. Okay, so now the wheat is going down the hole down there, and it's coming out into this bucket right here. Okay, so we're almost done with this. So the noise is almost over. Alrighty. Okay, so we have milled our wheat. Now this is what happens when you milled wheat. At about the 2-hour mark, oxidation starts to set in. And at about the 10-hour mark, your vitamins start to depreciate. So in order to make this so that it is shelf stable, they take out all the good parts, which is the part with the vitamins and the part with the fiber, and they leave only the starch, and that is what you buy. Even if you buy whole wheat flour at the grocery store, you still are not getting the parts. They add it in a chemical form. So let me show you again from the top. Okay, so this is what the flour actually looks like. Let me put the machine out of the way. There we go. All right, so this is freshly milled flour. This is real flour, folks, and it's got all the parts. This is what it looks like. It's got all the parts of what God created the regular wheat. Okay, so I want to emphasize to you, you can't buy this in the store. Unless you have a unique store that will take the wheat, grind it like I just did, sell it to you. But by the time you get home, you've got to start baking this within 2 hours, or it starts its decline, okay? And the decline is what affects you and me in terms of health. All right, so I'm going to put this over to the side. What's this? Oh, my mouse. Okay, so now there's something else that's new. I keep looking at the wrong camera. Okay, I'm not a European guy, all right? So I'm not used to grams and all that other kind of stuff. Hi, Randy, I see you. Hal, I see you. My hands have got dirt on them, so I'm not going to be popping too many until we get to the rest part, okay, where the machine starts to do the work. All right, so this is the machine that I'm talking about. Let's get a little wider. All right, so this is a bread machine. You could buy them anywhere from under $100 to over $450. What you really want is the part where it's got a dough cycle. Doe, a deer, a female deer, okay? Because the machine will do all the work for me. Yes, that's what I want. So I thought I was prepared. I wasn't. I didn't bring the hot water up. All right, so while I bring the hot water up, I'm going to take this out. And as you can see, let's turn on the overhead camera. All right, we have 2 paddles in there. See the 2 paddles? And they're supposed to be aiming the same way, like that. I'm turning it on the bottom. See this hand? Hello? Okay, so I'm lining it up. A lot of people will turn the paddles, and that just makes the machine not work as well, okay? So I'm going to take, this is the container that is going to knead, meaning going to mix it up, and rise, which means it's going to proof the bread. And then we're going to put it in pans and put it in the oven. So let's quickly get that part going, because once I get that part going, we could stop because it's going to go through its routine, and we can actually go and talk about the Nikon ZR, which is what you're watching. This is a camera channel, so you're watching the Nikon ZR, which everybody and his uncle wants to see. So what I'm going to get is some hot water out of the sink. Okay, and now I'm going to start assembling my bread. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this scale on. All right, so now it's on. I'm going to set the scale to grams. Now, I'm not used to grams, But watch how great it works out. I'm going to zero it out. So we're at the 0 weight scale, even though the pot is sitting on the scale. So now I'm going to actually get, and I'm going to put 326 grams. I'm at 250, 280, 290, 328. So I overshot it by a hair, okay? Now I'm going to zero it out again. So even with the water in it, I'm back to 0. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 158 grams of honey. Now honey, yeah, I'm calling you honey, right? Hi honey, I'm home. So where am I going? 158. Okay. So 130, 150, come on, 158. Okay. Okay, so now I added 158 grams of honey. Okay, excuse my finger. How rude. All right, so let's wipe the finger. Okay, and now I'm going to zero it out again. Now it's acting like there's no weight in there. I have water in there. I have honey in there to the right levels. Now I'm going to add, what do you think this is? What do you think that is? That's melted butter. So I'm going to add butter, 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 butter. Where is the butter? Okay, 42 grams. So we're at 0. And I'm going to go to 42 grams of butter. And then put this over to the side. It'll get hard, and when I make bread again tomorrow, it will actually, I'll put it in the microwave and I'll add more butter so that I can use the correct number of grams. Okay, so now, you want to take a look in there? Okay, so this is what it looks like. Let's move this forward. That's what it looks like in there. I can actually walk around, so I forgot to grab something, so I'm getting it now while you're looking at the pot, my jug. Okay, so now I'm going to add, where is my tablespoon? Okay, so this is something unique to making bread. Okay, it's going to sound bad, but it isn't. Okay, it actually is going to make the bread amazing. I'm going to add Anthony's Vital Wheat Gluten. Okay, so I'm going to add 1, 2, should have prepared this ahead of time, and 3. Okay, so what that does is it makes the bread more cake-like. So when you taste this bread, this is like a very fancy artisan type bread. So the only thing we're missing is I have 2 secret ingredients. They are in here. Okay, I'm going to put them in. This is something that I really don't tell people what it is. It's my proprietary adding to the mix. All right, so the only thing we're missing now, we got the honey, we got the butter, we got the water. Okay, we need the flour. So now we need to zero it out. Okay, now we're back to 0. Now how much flour do we need? We actually need 320, nope, wrong one. We need flour, 567 grams of flour. So I know that's pretty close to 3 of these. So I'm going to add, I zeroed it out. Now I know you guys that are just tuning in, you're wondering what in the heck is going on. Okay, so this is, what number am I going up to? 567. So we're at 300. Let me just pay attention here for 1 second, guys, because I need to put the right amount of flour in here. Okay, we're at 500. We need 67 more grams. There we go. Okay, so then I will take the flour that I have left over, put it in my flour pot. Okay, so I can use this later. And let me just keep my tabletop a little bit on the clean side. I felt myself getting nervous a minute ago, but it is what it is. We're making bread tonight and sharing it with everybody. And as soon as I get this in the machine and getting it going, then I'll be able to come and we could talk about the Nikon ZR. So what's the only part that we're missing? We are missing, let me make a little hole in the center here. Okay. Let me turn that so you can see what I'm doing. All right. So around here on this table somewhere, I promise, oh, we have the yeast. So I'm going to add the yeast right there. Now I have everything that I need to make bread in this pot. Okay, so I'm going to take this pot, and you won't be able to see it if I go to that camera. I'll go to that. So this is the Nikon ZR, and I'm going to put it in the machine. Now normally you would buy this so that you could push the button to say make bread, right? One button and it's all done. But the problem is, did you see this? You're going to get a bread that's wide and tall. It's going to be unmanageable. So this is what we're going to do. Okay, this is too much bread for one loaf. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the start button. And now I push the start button and I can move some of this stuff out of the way because I'd like to show you what it's doing because it's pretty cool. Okay. Now just to remember to do things in the right order, this is when I turn the oven on to 170 degrees. So it'll have quite a bit of time to get warmed up because when I'm ready to put the bread in the oven, it'll be pre-warmed. So you can hear me even though you can't see me. So I'm going to push this to 170 degrees and then I'm going to push start. And we're at 200, 190, 180, 170, start. Okay, so basically what I'm doing is I'm pre-warming the oven. So we did the honey, we did, which is going to make it sweeter. And now that we're at the beginning, let me just double check and make sure I didn't forget to put something in. I put my secret stuff in there. I put the yeast. I put the unsalted butter, by the way. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the machine out. Let's move this stuff out. It's a little weird when you're live, okay? Because when you're live, it's like there's a little bit of a nervousness when you're doing something new. When you do the same thing over and over and over, then it's fine. So the pen is here so I could sign the bread. If you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you. No, this pen is here and you'll see why in a second. I'm going to pull this out, okay? And then I'm going to put the overhead camera on. Now I'm going to push the safety so you can actually see that the two paddles in there are actually mixing up the bread. And now that I've got it open, I'm going to go around the edges and push the flour that's stuck on the side. I'm going to push it down and let it all mix in. Yeah, they got fancy cooking terms. It will incorporate, like you're starting a corporation. So this is what it's going to do. And it's called kneading the bread. And it's actually going to knead the bread for 22 minutes. Okay. So it's going to turn it and you can see it's starting to form a ball. Okay. So I'm just going to let it do its thing. I'm going to move it back over here out of my way. So I have my space with you because we're going to need the space. In less than 40 minutes, it's going to actually, where am I? Let's put the camera on. It's going to actually rise up, okay? And then rather than letting it cook all the way, all by itself, we are going to put it in pans, which we'll prepare now that we got see, the machine is doing all the work. So you guys that are go like, oh, I don't want more gadgets in my kitchen and that kind of stuff. Well, you can buy your bread at the grocery store. And all you're going to get is the starch, because remember, there's 3 parts to the wheat. When the Bible says that wheat is the staff of life, they're not talking about the stuff at Publix or Walmart or Kroger and stuff like that. The Bible is talking about the part where it's got all 3 parts. The endosperm, which is the starch, the bran, which is the fiber, sweeps out the intestines, okay, and then the germ, which is where all the vitamins, vitamin B and the other vitamins that are in there, and those are the parts that actually go into your body. That's the healthy bread. Get yourself a cup of coffee, because we're going to have a little bit of a time to ourselves. So, where you would normally be putting this bread in a machine to mix it, and the dough hook, and the KitchenAid, and it'll go whir, and do that. And then you add flour, and you add this, and it's got to become a little ball, and it's got to come off the sides. And if you guys have never cooked, you don't know what the heck I'm talking about. Okay, but that's a part of making bread. All right. Now, this is the way I want to say, boys and their toys. This is the way guys will do it. I'm just trying to keep a clean counter here, because when you get when you're under pressure and you get flustered, you can't find anything. Where is this and where is that? Okay, so this is my tablespoon. All right, so what we do as boys and their toys is we buy machines. We do the same thing with the cameras. Okay, we want the nice, neat, awesome cameras, and this is what we're looking at now, the ZR. So now, well, this thing is going to be kneading and mixing and all that kind of stuff for a little bit. Well, let me finish up on the machine. So if you wanted to buy a machine to start making bread, this your own bread, because let's say you get it in your head, dang, I want healthy bread. And Peter is telling me, and I'm not the only one, you can go on the internet and they will teach you, if you go on the carnivore, no grains. Okay, but they don't realize when they say no grains, they're not talking about the biblical grains. They're talking about the grains at Walmart and Kroger and Publix and whatever, Piggly Wiggly, whatever you got over there. Okay, so the Bible is talking about the grain that's got all 3 parts. And you go like, Peter, I ain't gonna make bread. You know, that's for my wife to do if she wants to do it, and chances are she's too busy. So what you do is you buy a machine that will make the bread, but don't use it to make the bread. Kind of like a conundrum, right? You're saying buy the machine to make the bread, but don't use it to make the bread. No, use it because you want one that's got a dough cycle. Because now I just added everything like I was going to make the bread into the bucket. I put the bucket into the machine and I pushed the dough button. That's what I did. So by the time it is finished, we're actually going to have the dough. So instead of letting it continue and finish, we're going to take the dough out, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to take the dough. It's going to actually make us, that same amount of dough is going to make us 2 loaves of bread. So imagine a bread that's that tall. It's absolutely unmanageable. But that's what the machines, all of them, are capable of making. And then the cheaper ones are going to actually make like a tall cylinder of bread. When's the last time you bought a tall cylinder of bread? I have never bought a tall cylinder of bread. Okay? So you get the cheap machine. You learn the measurements like I just gave them to you. Okay? I have on my kitchen channel, Peter's Kitchen, you do at Peter's Kitchen, and you look for a picture of me and you go there. And I have one that I just put up a few days ago, making honey bread. in the bread machine or the Zojirushi. That's the name of this machine. So this machine is the 300 to 450 machine. They got a couple of varieties of them at that price. But most of you guys ain't gonna spend that kind of money on a bread machine. I'd rather buy a lens. Honestly, I would much rather buy a lens. And you know what? You're right. Except for one thing. If you want to start going towards a healthy lifestyle, even if you're young, very young, you would get yourself a machine around $100. You want a nice one? $200. Okay? You want to be cheapy weepy? $95. Or even look for them on Marketplace or eBay for used ones. But if you want a new one, $100, okay, to $120, get yourself a nice cup of hot coffee. And you're going to assemble the parts. It's water, honey, butter, flour, but it needs to be the fresh milled flour. So how are you going to mill flour? Peter, you say, I ain't going to mill flour like that. Yes, you are. You're just not going to use the fancy machine like I got, unless you want to spend another $400. You're going to buy yourself a coffee grinder, and you're going to put your wheat that you buy in the coffee grinder. All right, so it's 3 cups. You're not going to do it all at once. You're going to grind 1 cup and pour it in the bowl, grind another cup, pour it in a bowl, and then grind your 3rd one. And you know, you can make fresh loaf of bread every day, or you can make them, a bunch of them, like 5, 6, 7 loaves, put them in the freezer. Take it out as you need it, because it'll freeze once you cook it. Once you cook the wheat, all the nutriments are in. Okay? So let's see who we have in the room. Now it'll become more like a Friday night boys club. Okay, this is what we normally do on Friday night. Randy's here. Hi, Peter. Oh, I didn't check the coloring, so it's in gold this time. Okay. Hal, how you doing, buddy? I hope you're feeling better. I can smell it from here. Can I do a commercial? If you go to petergregg.com, I added where you could buy the loaves. They'll be sold 2 at a time, okay? And it's in yellow right at the top. So I'm going to put that right up front here. Although this video is going to come down, it's not going to stay public because it's got not much to do with the cameras. So we'll get into the cameras in a moment. So Hal is here. I hope you're feeling better. Woody is here. And he is saying, hello, hello. I don't know why you say goodbye. I say hello. Good evening, Peter. And y'all, happy Friday. You know, it's 6 days till Christmas. 6 days till Christmas. Okay. So that's Jim. He just got his special treat from Santa Claus today. Woody's saying hi to Jim. And Jim is saying hi to Woody. And Carlos is here. Now, Carlos is all the way on the other side of the country. So we're at 10:30. He's at 7:30. And yet he's in here. So this is what we've got going. Now, let's talk cameras. This is a camera channel, but I'm making bread. But I'm using the new Nikon ZR. So the temperature is climbing here. I have the oven preheating to 170 degrees. So the warmth is coming in. I have the air conditioners off. I have the fans off that kind of balances the air conditioning from this one room into the other rooms to, you know, make the air levels. We don't have central air in this house. Okay, so we are starting to get warm. Okay, and now we'll see exactly what the Nikon ZR does. So let me see. I'll tell you what the temperature is. Okay, hold your horses, keep your pantyhose on. All right, so it's 79 degrees in here. So by the time we finish, we're going to be over 80 degrees to 84 degrees, and you'll see little drops of sweat. Okay, so what about the Nikon ZR? So this is the Nikon ZR. This is what you're watching. I'm using eCam where I have buttons here. So if I push this button, I get a close-up from the Nikon ZR. If I push this button, I get a close-up from the Nikon ZFC camera. And if I push this button, I get a little wider view. Now this is normally my regular camera for my kitchen channel. I brought the Nikon ZR in here and to use it for tonight, because this camera is just pretty new on the market. People are still ordering it and getting it. So this becomes, you know, a unique show. We're cooking and playing. We're cooking the camera. How's that? We're cooking the camera. So we were, how far did we get? We got to Carlos. Hi, everybody. I love this, Peter. Yeah, it's kind of unique. I wasn't sure what to do, but then I decided, what the heck? It's a week before Christmas. Well, I'm actually trying to hedge my bets there. I could do a live show. See, this channel doesn't like live shows, okay? It likes the pre-recorded shows where I have everything kind of under control and stuff like that. But I wanted to bring the rest of you guys in to see how the Nikon ZR is going to actually handle a live situation. This is a live situation. If this camera goes and it overheats, or if the power runs out, I have it being powered by a USB power. Okay, the battery certainly isn't going to last the length of what we got going here. All right, so this guy is still running and is telling me it will rise and be completed for the first rise. We need 2 rises on bread, okay, in 30 minutes. So in 30 minutes, we will kick into action with the bread again. In the meantime, we're going to be talking cameras and the hellos for all you guys, okay? So I have the 50mm 1.4 lens on here. Now, I have learned in a cooking situation, I don't want it to be at f1.4. I actually had, because I'm fancy. I like the background blurred, and you know, that's the kind of thing that I'm used to and what I like. Okay, so that's what I started when I started doing the kitchen channel in here. And when that happened, people were complaining. It's like, oh, I can't read what you have on this bag, or I can't read what you have over here. So I actually increased the depth of field by putting it, I eventually landed on f3.2. So here's f3.2 on a full frame camera, okay? And here's f3.2 on a crop sensor camera. So can you see the difference? The background is much more in focus on the crop sensor camera. And if I come back over here to the full frame, same f3.2, you still get a touch of blur, but it's not as sharp in the background as it is with the ZFC camera. So we are looking at the Nikon ZR, the wide view, and this is a close-up where I get to talk to you. Now, the lighting actually becomes more critical when you have everything in the back is white. What are you going to do? If you put it all correct, then your face will get really, really, really dark. Actually, my face looks a little dark even here. Okay, that's my opinion. Everybody else has their own opinion. All right, so we've got Phil just came in. Hi, Phil. Hi, everybody. I wanted to wish everyone a good holiday and a Merry Christmas. Peter, I wish you good health, and Jesus loves you. Yes, I love all you guys. All right, so if you're wondering why this is actually beeping right now, it thinks it's going to make a loaf of bread, okay, where I'm actually bringing it through to the first rise. Now is when I would add cranberries or raisins or something to that effect, because I have had somebody ask me to put the dried cranberries, which are cran raisins. When you go to petergregg.com and in the top yellow thing, it says you can now buy my fresh bread and I'll ship it to you. You'll see like there's a bonus thing where you can add raisins or cranberries. You'll just have to tell me which one you want. Unless you want both, okay? That's fine. I'm not here to stick anybody. If you want only raisins, I'll do it. If you want only cranberries, I'll do it. My sister-in-law, she likes cranberries. And I didn't think I would like it, but I actually do. I do like it, okay? So that is what we've got going on there. So where was I? Oh, I've got the 50 millimeter on here at f3.2, and I did have to raise it, I don't remember, either ISO 800 or higher or lower to give it enough light, okay? Now the Nikon ZFC, which is this camera, to me the face looks a little bit brighter, and I'm not sure why. Okay, remember the Nikon Red, which is this guy right here, okay, has got a lot more settings. So I'm going to have to fiddle with this, and I won't be doing the shows from here, okay. This is a one-time thing. I needed to make bread. I got to make Jim's bread, get it out in the mail. Probably will go out Monday or Tuesday. I don't know if it'll get there before Christmas, so I'll have to talk to Jim on the phone about that, okay. So that's why we're making the bread tonight, and I figured it'd be something different. Either that, or I could just sit in the Christmas room, which is over there, which is why I looked over there, okay. I could just sit in the Christmas room, and I lost my phone. Here it is, okay. I think somebody dinged me. It's the president. He wanted to see how I was doing. If you believe that one. I got another bridge to sell you. All right, so let's check out front, see what's going on. There we go. Okay, so with the security cameras in this house, I can see what is going on, where, when, how, and why. Okay, all right, so let's get back to the Nikon ZR. So the best part of the Nikon ZR is it's got the red feature in there if you want to use it. Now I have used the red feature. They give you a bunch of LUTs. So when you actually shoot with the red feature on the Nikon ZR and you turn that profile on, it comes out very gray looking. Okay. Now you can add a LUT into the camera so it bakes it in, or you can have the view assist turned on, so it separately will add a LUT so you could see what the picture will look like on the screen, but it won't bake it in. You'll still have to do that in which one do I use? I use Final Cut Pro. I almost forgot. Or Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve, or whichever software that you use, you can add the LUT there. So the view assist allows you to see what it looks like, but it's still going to come out with that looking log, very grayish. All the tones are kind of like very subdued. That increases the dynamic range, which is why they do that, in case you're actually wondering. Why do they do that, Peter? All right, so they do that so that you will actually have a higher dynamic range. So, what else do I want to tell you about the camera? What don't I like? Okay, the camera is, and I'm sorry to say this, because it's unusual for Nikon. It really is. The camera is a little on the clumsy side. So while you're holding it and you're recording, you're doing okay. While you're holding it and you're taking pictures, you're doing okay. But when you want to interact with it and you want to actually go to the the menus and stuff, the joystick that they used is actually very very clumsy. I really don't like it at all, to be honest with you. I don't like it at all. They need to change the joystick. The one that's on the Z6 Mark III is fine. The one that's on the Canon is fine. The ones that are on my Sony are fine. This one is, you just look at it wrong, and it actually it does, you know, doesn't hit what you want. So you wind up tapping the LCD screen, which is what I wind up doing. So we only have 21 minutes left, and I will have to start preparing here, okay, because we are going to want to get this bread into the oven, and I'm not going to let the machine handle that. So it's finished all of the yeast, all the bread making and stuff like that. Is that good? Okay. Now it's going to, they call it rise the bread. We call it proofing the bread. Let's put this away. Okay. This can't get too hot, so I want to move it away from the hot stuff that I'm doing. Okay. So if you've got yourself your cup of coffee, we will have our cup of coffee and enjoy it together. So I have tried the Lutz, and I wound up having to make my own Lutz. The ones that Nikon gives you, I don't like them at all. Okay, it doesn't get vibrant like we have here. So when you go to the red profile, what you have going on is having to use a LUT, but they take away your skin smoothing. So now this is set to the standard, okay? So it's actually set to the standard profile, because you know you get standard, natural, flat, vivid. You recognize those, okay? So it's got all that, and then it's got a whole bunch of others, and then at the bottom of a whole bunch of others is the Nikon red profile, which is the one that comes from the technology of the red camera. So the red camera is a camera that can be up to what, $40,000, $50,000, and people use them to make films and stuff like that. And they put that technology in this camera, and it's $2,200, and it's a full frame, and it actually gives you a 4-inch LCD screen. I was going to say LED, but it's LCD. And boy, it's a joy to use. All right. So now you can go to Nikon Creative or whatever the website is and download the LUTs. Didn't like them. Okay. But when you go to the red profile, here's what I really don't like. What I really don't like is that it takes away the skin smoothing, which I have on right now, okay, on the low. And that's only because of my age. I'm a little more sensitive because I've got, like, wrong side, the brown spots and the age spots, and you get a little vain as you get older. So I turn on the skin smoothing and I keep it on low. And it actually does a good job. So this is what it looks like, okay? And this is on low. Now, it takes away your ability to control the sharpness when you're in the red profile, turns off the skin smoothing, turns off your contrast control, because you could actually, if you know what you're doing, you can actually dial this in right in the camera without having to resort to a LUT. So people that are very much into film and stuff, they are very LUT oriented. A LUT is basically a preset where it's got a lot of things set, colors and all kinds of things are set, okay? And you put that on, turn it on, and woof, or whoosh, it just pops into the look that you want to see, okay? But you don't have to use a LUT. You can actually handle this on your own, okay? Now, I could actually show it to you. However, I'm, not going to do it now because I don't want to walk back and forth. The show will get very boring, even though we do have another 17 minutes before we start going into phase 2 of making our bread. So this show is a much more relaxed show. We're just making a couple of loaves of bread, and we're going to run the ZR through the whole kit and caboodle. And it is getting warmer in here as I've been going. I could feel my brow. Okay, we're up to 80 degrees now. Okay, I can feel my forehead actually wants to drip a little bit of sweat. So we're going to see what happens with this camera and how it handles the heat that's in the kitchen. Okay, so let's see. Let's come over here and all right, so this is the ZFC. All right, so you can get your eyes kind of used to this for a moment. There's got to be a setting in here where I kind of boosted the midtones, because that's where the skin sits, and I have not been able to find it. I didn't look very hard. I have not been able to find it on this guy, because if I can boost the midtones here in brightness, okay, the face will brighten up. So if I actually come over to these settings and I boost the brightness, it's going to do it across the board. So the yellow is on this side is almost blown out. Now watch what would happen if I actually boost the brightness here. Okay, so I would like my face to have that level of the brightness, but my shirt has blown out. So my shirt is in highlights, my skin tones are not. So I need to find how to boost the midtones on here. And there's two ways to do it. Some cameras will have it divided, so you could just take the midtones, brighten them right up. The other way to do it is you could take the highlights. They only give you highlights and shadows. They don't give you the midtone. You could take the highlights and lower it down, and you could take the shadows and lower it down. And what happens when you do that? Your midtones are brighter, because now your picture is going to look darker. You're going to have to brighten it up. Okay, so that's what we got going on. I'm going to leave it here for a few moments and then come back over here. Alrighty. So I'm checking to see what I have turned on. Everything else is flat. So what we're doing is running the Nikon ZR. I have created actually 3 different LUTs. You don't only make one and then go for lunch. You will make one and then you'll say, oh, I should do this. And then you'll fiddle with it. So what it is, you're adjusting the colors, you're adjusting the contrast, you're adjusting the things that you can normally adjust in the camera. You've got to do it in your software. For me, it's in Final Cut Pro. And then you export it as a LUT, as a .cube, C-U-B-E file. And then you take that, and Ecamm, which is what I'm using right now, will actually read the LUT. The camera will read the LUT, okay? And what else will read the LUT? Oh, the View Assist will read the LUT. So you got 3 places to apply a LUT. A LUT implies that your picture is not finished. It's actually needs to have more adjustments made. So that is all the presets or all the commands are standardized, I guess, and it comes out as a cube, C-U-B-E, a cube file. Okay, so that is what we had, but I turned it off and I went over to the standard profile, and with the standard profile I adjusted everything in the camera. I don't know, maybe I'm just kind of used to doing it that way, or I'm not sure. So that is what we have going on. So I'm guessing that the people that are on Peter Gregg Live don't know where I am, that I'm over here, and I'm now debating if I should move over there or not, because we usually have more people that will come in, and we don't have a lot of people. So this is on the big channel. Am I correct? Am I on the big channel? Randy, are you out there? This is on the big channel is what I'm thinking. So let me know what it is that is going on. So that is what we've got going on. So what we're doing now is talking about the cameras. And in a second, I'm going to switch over to talk about the FX2, where I'm going to have a much bigger mouth on the FX2. It's not connected here, so I won't be connecting to the FX2 here. I should have brought it in here so I could show it to you. Okay. So we have 10 minutes left, and it's actually rising the dough right now. I could see it doing its thing in here. I've got the oven actually rolling in there. So what I'm going to do is I've learned a few secret tricks to use, and one of them is how do you get the dough into the pan, how do you keep the pan from sticking to your dough, and how do you get the dough out of the pan. So you see how we smoothly, so slick, I switched from cameras to making dough. Okay, so this is what we've got going on. This is a bread pan. So if I go over here, this is what the bread pan looks like. You see how clean it is? I don't even wash these things. And they're a silicone bread pan, honestly. So what I do is I will come over here and, okay, so Randy says that I'm on the big channel, and Jim says I'm on the big channel. So we're on the big channel. We just don't have the viewers coming in that I thought I would have. So I'm glad I did this. I was going to say I'm sorry I did this, but I'm glad because it's exciting, it's different, and if you told me a year ago I'd be making loaves of bread live on the air, no, nay, nay, as John Panay would say. Okay, so this is parchment sheets, 12 by 16 pre-cut parchment sheets. So what I do is I put them here, okay, and then I just gently push them down, trying to center it. Not that good at centering it, okay. Get them into the corners. So what is this going to do? I don't have to wash the pan, number one. Number two, wait till you see how the bread comes out of this. You're going to be absolutely amazed at how the bread comes out. Okay, so that's the first one, and I will put it up here, and then I will take and get the second one, because we're making 2 loaves of bread now, guys. Okay, and I'm going to put it in here. You see how it takes an extra second? I could just shove it down, but I've done that and I have ripped the sheets, and that kind of defeats the purpose when I rip the sheets. Okay, so now you wait till you see how, just wait till you see how I remove the bread out of these pans. You're going to see people that do, and it's stuck, and I have to wait till you see how this comes out. Okay, so you guys that were not interested and you left because you were not interested in watching on making the bread, you're missing out. You go to McDonald's, you go to Burger King, you go and eat all this processed stuff when you could so easily have a healthy loaf of bread at the push of a button. Push of a button. Okay, so when you push the button, okay, so now I'm still in the preparation mode because the dough is going to come out. Okay, let's move my cup of coffee. There we go. All right, so we have 7 minutes to go, and in 7 minutes, we're going to kick this into action. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a silicone pad. So you're going to need your wheat to do your own. You're going to need a grinder. Coffee grinder will be fine. Look on Amazon, see what they cost. Okay. You're going to need a recipe, which I can hook you up with the recipe. You're going to need a machine that actually has a dough button so that you don't have to do the work. The dough button is where it does the work for you, okay? And you just got to move it from spot A to spot B, okay? Now that I think you can do. Honestly, even if you have no kitchen expertise, I still think you can do that. Okay, so now I set down let me show you. Okay, I set down is that the wrong camera? Yeah. This is where I will put the dough when it comes out, right on here. And then I'll show you another trick with oil that I learned to do. I've learned so much on doing this. Don't be thinking like I'm a professional breader guy. I'm not, okay? But you learn enough tricks, okay, where the hard stuff becomes actually easy. So Jim says I'm on the big channel. Randy says I'm on the big channel. Jim can't get this mouse to move. It doesn't like the silicone pad, I can tell you that right now. Said the parchment paper is amazing. Okay, so yeah, it actually changes. Everything gets changed. Okay, it all changes. The cameras change, the lenses change, the bread making methods change. It all changes. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a paper towel. I was smart enough to bring one over here. Hello. I'm usually not that smart. Okay. And I'm going to dip it. Dip, dip, dip. And I'm just going to oil my silicone pad. Okay. Going to gently oil it. And you'll see why in a moment. Going to oil it. So I'm oiling, putting the olive oil, regular cheap olive oil. It is extra virgin, but I didn't buy the expensive stuff because it's coating and doing all that stuff. And I'm using butter, okay, instead of oil in my bread. So now I oiled this, and I have to now keep my fingers off of it because it's oily. Okay, so I will keep this out of the way. So what am I going to need? Yes, this is what I'm going to need. I need to oil the top of this because we're going to... Actually, you know what? I should drop it in a pan or a bowl. Yeah, that would be smarter. But I don't think I have something exactly handy. I don't think I have something handy. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Okay. So, yeah, the parchment paper, Jim, makes it... I have taken every single step of making bread and made it so that us guys can get in the kitchen and make a loaf of bread and not look like Goofy, okay? Or Dumbo the elephant being clumsy as can be. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for this bucket. Okay, so I'm adding an extra step now, and I'm going to make it very simple. Okay, so I'm going to oil this bucket, and the reason I'm oiling this bucket is I'm going to put the dough in here to weigh it. And then all I have to do is divide it by 2. So you guys get ready to do the math. Okay, I'm going to say this amount, tell me what it is divided by 2. Okay, so you guys get ready to do that. We're going to do it in 3 minutes. So now, while I've been blabbing all this time, the machine has kneaded the bread. Okay. It's going to put this over to the side. Going to put this over here. Going to turn it on. And after I turn it on, I'm going to zero it out. I keep forgetting where to look. Okay, I'm very used to looking over here because that's where I would do my normal kitchen stuff. All right, so now with this bucket on the scale, it's going, and it comes out to 0 because every time you add something, you zero it out. So if you need to add this much and you have a number, you can add the amount that you want just by zeroing it out every time. So you'll need a scale. You'll need a kitchen scale. Okay, so you need the grinder, the kitchen scale. You'll need a machine that's got a dough button. You'll need a couple of pans, bread pans. Okay, and with that, you could make bread all year long from fresh ground wheat that's got all the healthy parts, the vitamins, which is necessary because that's why you see the word enriched. Let's see. Oh, this thing is ready. Okay, let's look at this bag. Okay, and let's see. Unbleached enriched flour. Okay, so enriched, and this is King Arthur. So what they're telling you is we took everything out and we're adding some vitamins back in so that you don't die. I'm serious, okay? Because what happened is the people were getting sick, and because everybody was switching over to I could buy flour in the store. Okay, so let's see. So this is risen, all right? So now my oven has been preheating at 170 degrees, and now here's one of my secrets. This is you can either see it as very sensual, or you're going to be able to see it as like, oh, that's gross. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to dip my fingers in this oil. See this hand? I'm dipping, and now I'm dripping onto the other hand, and I am lubing up my fingers. Okay, I am lubing up my hands with olive oil. Very simple. Now I'm going to take this out. Here we go. Okay, and if I can give you a good view, you'll see I'm just going to pull it out. Okay, and look at how much dough is left in this pan. Almost nothing. A little bit on the paddle, a little bit on the side. Okay, now this dough is ultra sticky. Okay, so if I oil my hands, heavy with oil, and I pat this, one of the paddles stayed in there, and I pat this down with the oil, watch, this becomes a pleasure to use. Honestly, it's amazing. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is going to stick it in here. Wait, I got to turn it back on. My finger's full of oil. All right, so I'll turn that back on. It's zeroed out. All right, get ready to do the math. It's 1,195 grams. I need to know how much that is, half of it. Okay, so I can get rid of this now. And now I can knead the dough a little bit just to get the air out of it. I don't want the air in. I want the air out. Okay, so I'm going to try to make it as much of a log as possible. And now I'm going to get my handy dandy cutter that I can't find. I knew there was, oh, I did have it here. All right, I was just gonna correct myself and say that I didn't have everything. So I'm going to cut this in half. Anybody got that half number for me? So I'm just going to say, let's see what this one is. 562, and this one is, wow, 635. All right. So we need to take a little bit of this dough off, put it over here. I'm gonna try for 600 for each one. All right, so that's 606, 589. Take a little bit and put it back. Okay. Okay, so now we have it divided in half. So I'm going to put this half over to the side. All right, now watch this. I'm going to press it down. I'm going to fold it over. Then I'm going to press it down again. Most of the time they'll do it like this, okay? Like you're going to punch it. But I don't know, that feels very unnatural for me. I prefer the palms of my hands. But we can do that if it makes people feel better. All right, so I got most of the air out. Okay. So now we're going to do the head and shoulders trick. Going to make it kind of as wide as I want. I'm going to bring over the shoulders into the center and then roll the head down and then just keep rolling, rolling, rolling until I have a nice log. Pinch this end, pinch this end, pinch the bottom. Then I'm going to take this pan and I'm going to lay it right in here. Okay. And then I'm going to kind of like try to spread it a little bit while not destroying the look. And then, what's the saying on the shampoo bottle? Rinse and repeat. We're going to do the same thing for this one. We're going to knead, fold it in, knead. I can hear the bubbles popping. You probably can't hear it, but I can hear the bubbles popping, okay? And then I'm going to bring the shoulders in and roll the head and make a very nice log. And there we go. I'm going to tuck in the two ends. See how I'm doing it with thumbs over here? And then lay it in the center. Then I'm going to bring it here so you could see. I could do it over there. And then I'm just going to gently massage it so it gets kind of like going towards the corners. And then I'm going to make it so it's smooth. Okay? Now I'm going to come over here. There we go. And I'm going to take these two guys and I'm going to put them in the oven. I'll be right back, but you'll be able to hear me because the mic is a lapel mic. So I will put them in here. The oven is at 170 degrees. That's where it's going to rise from. Okay. Close the oven and let's look at the recipe and see. Rise 1 is 22 minutes. Oh no, I need rise 2 is 35 minutes. Right camera, 35 minutes. So I'm going to put my timer on for 35 minutes. There we go. Up, 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 up. There we go. All right. So that will be rise 2. It will be 35 minutes. So what's going to happen is it's going to fill that loaf and rise up. They say double in size, but there's a couple of tricks that you can use, and I'll teach them to you right now as soon as I get the oil off of my hands. Okay. Let's get together. Yeah. Okay, so I am cleaning my hands off and I'm looking for my front cameras to come on. I don't know, the Wi-Fi is okay, so that's good news. So I can relax now. Everybody is safe and sound in the house. Okay. So now what you could do, you're done, basically. I could take this, put it away. Watch this. Wipe, wipe, wipe. Wipe, wipe, wipe. And over here on the shelf it goes, and it sits there all by itself. Okay. I have done that. Then I'm going to wet a paper towel. I'm going to wipe the silicone cloth down So it's nice and clean for the next use. Now, if I wanted to, I could start on the next set of loaf of bread. I'm not, okay? It is Friday night, and it is Christmas, and I love Christmas movies, okay? So the Christmas movies are in full force. Pop, 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 pop. I'm wiping this down so it's nice and clean. The point is, if you keep it clean at the beginning when you first start doing this crap, everything is on the harder side to do. Then when you get used to it, everything we just did will be so easy. So if you notice, the ZR is still running, is still doing fine. I could see the LCD. There's no warnings for heat that I could see. I should walk over there and look to make sure before I tell you. Okay, but the first thing I want to do is pick this up, shake it off. Okay, now let me go over to the ZR. So I had to leave the picture for a moment. Randy says he heard it. He heard the. Did you really, or are you just joking, Randy? Their bubbles really were popping. Okay, so now I'm over where they. See, that's me. Okay. Nope, there's no temperature warning on this LCD screen anywhere. It is clear. Left to right, up to down. F3.2. Oh, we are shooting at a 180-degree angle. I didn't even realize that. That's another thing that this camera has, is the 180-degree angle. Okay. So now we have a few minutes of time to ourselves again, because the next stage is we're going to turn the oven on and we're going to bake these suckers. We're going to get the most amazing bread that you ever wanted to see. Okay. Oh, Jim Monday is leaving. You're going to leave me, Jim? Oh, that's right. He does have to go a certain time. I forgot about that. So Jim is saying good night. Enjoy your Friday night. I'm off to bed. I wonder why I've got a white box around here. I kind of like that. The Ham Radio Club is tomorrow morning early. Merry Christmas, Peter. That's right. After this show is over, I won't see you till after Christmas. Oh my God, where has this year gone? That's terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. So I noticed that we are not timing the comments. I don't know how to time these comments. Okay, let's see if I can find where it is. It's just so hard to read it from here. Okay, let's go to General. I'm looking someplace where there's a time. Nope, I don't see it. Doesn't matter. I could turn the comments on and off at will. So I'm actually very pleased with this picture. This is the ZR. So for $2,200, you can have a camera that is extremely high-end. So that is really, really, really good. Okay. So now let's see. Do you know where we are in this? All right. We have 29 minutes to go. And in those 29 minutes, the bread will rise. And then we will cook it for how long? We are going to cook the bread, I believe, for 25 minutes. Rise to 25 minutes at 350. The bread needs to hit 185 degrees. So there's not many of us left in here. So how was your week? We're still futzing around with the ZR. She's still going. The external power seems to be holding up. So we're cleaned up. Now we're just waiting for the bread to come out. Not that hard, right? But you know what the secret is? The secret of the bread is your recipe. Your recipe is either going to make, in my case, a cake-ish, not cake, but it leans towards the cake-ish type of of bread where it's nice and moist, and I like it sweeter, but this is the way everybody, and this is the way I settled on the whatchamacallit, on the recipe that I have. So let's wipe this guy out real quick. And you wind up getting actually into a routine, honestly. And the routine makes things easy. So you can make 3 or 4, you make 2 or 4 loaves, and you have them for 1 or 2 weeks, depending on how quickly you gobble up the bread. Now the trouble is, in this house, this bread is gone in a day to a day and a half. Okay? So this is going to get frozen and then shipped out to Jim, but I'm not going to ship it on Saturday or Sunday. So it'll probably get shipped on a Monday or Tuesday, and it'll go out UPS. So that is what we've got going on. So now the FX2. How do I like the FX2 compared to the ZR? Now that's a harder question. Time for a sip of coffee before you guys blast me. All right, so let's come in here. All right, so I am actually checking now to see that I am still broadcasting live and make sure all is well. And I could see all the comments over there on the side, and that is very nice. Okay, so yep, we are still broadcasting live. Okay, so let's close that out. Okay, I got the timings on mine. What are you talking about, Randy? What timings? Oh, you have a bread machine? I didn't know you had a bread machine. Okay, so I can give you the timings that I use for the dough cycle. I use the custom dough cycle, so I set the times. So the regular times would be knead 22 minutes, rise 1, 20 minutes, rise 2, 35 minutes. All right, so what I do is I knead for 22 minutes and I rise for 22 minutes. And then I go to rise on 35 minutes, which is where we are at right now. So we are rising at 35 minutes, and we're on this timer. We got 25 minutes to go. So the bread is rising in the oven as we're speaking. The yeast is doing its thing. Okay, I have the oven set to 170 degrees, and I didn't pick 170 on purpose. Okay. So I actually picked it because that's the lowest it'll go, and I want the oven to stay warm. Plus, there's a girl named Courtney, that's Sue Becker's daughter, and she said, put it at 170, put it in there for 30 to 35 minutes, take it out and start baking. Okay, and lo and behold, the girl is right. The woman is correct. Okay, so the FX2 versus the ZR. I have started on this a couple of times. Okay. I need to lean on something because I didn't realize I was going to stand for this whole show. I should have had a little cedar chair to be seated with. Okay. The mic is over here and it's going to get damaged, so I'll move it over to the side. Okay. So now, much better. All right. So I think I can move in and be more face-to-face with you guys. All right, so what we've got going is the FX2 has the ability to do something for me that I like, which is better stabilization. And this is not for everybody, but it is for me. So I'm not going to discount it like I don't care, because I actually do care. So what I like about it, I wonder how far I can walk. I'd like to get the stool so I could sit down, but I don't know how far I could walk. So let's find out. I'm going to walk to the stool, which is in the Christmas room, believe it or not. So you might fade out for a minute or two, and I should have thought of this ahead of time. All right, so I'm in the Christmas room. You're probably breaking up, okay? So I'm now grabbing my stool. Here we go. I don't know if you can hear me anymore, so I'm not sure if I should talk or not. So right here is where I would be doing the show normally. But tonight we're doing a special edition of live making the bread. And I am getting the stool so I can sit here and talk to you and get off my feet. Okay, now let's see. If I sit here, oh, that's much more comfortable. All right, so the FX2 has a fan, so the ZR does not. The FX2 has a full-size HDMI for those of you that care. The ZR don't. Okay, let's put some fresh water in here. So the larger HDMI in the fan is something that I do like. The body shapes are similar. The LCD screen on the ZR is phenomenal. You ain't going to see another screen like that. I mean, the screen on this camera is excellent. But my ability to stabilize on the FX2 is far superior. I didn't break up. Very nice. Okay, so I did grab a stool. Okay. So if I had to pick between the ZR and the FX2, now I'm not playing team sports, meaning I'm bashing one camera or the other. Like Randy loves, here's Randy, so you know who I'm talking about. Okay. How is the battery life on the FX2 compared to the ZR? That's a good question. I have never run out of battery on either one. They both pack a wallop, and I don't do long form, meaning I don't put it on to record for a long period of time. So I would say the battery is not an issue on either camera. They both use their best battery. So Randy, you mean to tell me I was able to go all the way to the Christmas room and it didn't break up? Wow. Now if I could figure out how I could go sit in the Christmas room and still be live on this show without ending it and starting it over in the other room, because they don't allow you to interconnect. Two eCams don't, they don't interconnect. So if you figure out how to do that without having to buy a 75-foot cable, okay, that would be awesome. So anyway, I did not break up, and he said, yep. Okay. All right, so here's the bad news for the ZR lovers. I would pick the FX2 for myself. But I will balance that out by saying Jim Monday picked the A7 Mark V. That's a Sony. Randy picks the ZR. So the cameras are all so good right now that it's hard to pick a bad camera. And that is where we are in the cycle of life. Now, I'm just kind of sorry I'm 72 years old, because what you guys are going to see in the next 10 to 15 years, I'm not sure if I'm going to be here to see it, which is, you know, one of the things that's kind of sad. Now, I'm happy because I will be going to heaven. I'm a Christian, so there's a faith system for that and where you're going when you finish here. And I'm in on that faith system. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. Okay, which is Christmas is coming up, is his birthday. How is the joystick from both cameras? So the joystick, Randy asks, how do they compare? The ZR versus the FX2. So on the ZR is the worst of the two for the joystick. The FX2 has got a much better joystick. However, where the joystick is another question, okay? So the joystick on the FX2, you got to get used to it because it's up on top instead of on the back where your thumb would be. So on the ZR, it's where your thumb is, but it doesn't react to you very well. So it winds up being very clumsy. And the camera is the most clumsy Nikon camera that I have seen since the ZFC. And the ZFC, which is this guy right here, that's you, baby. So the ZFC is clumsy until you get used to it. So I think the Nikon ZR, which is this bad boy right there, is going to be similar. So after you use this for a little bit, I got a feeling my little complaints will go away. Okay. So Randy says, I picked up the ZR for the studio only. No anamorphic lenses, no LUTs, just for live streams. Okay. And YouTube content. So if you're going to use Ecamm, you dial it in. So my numbers for Ecamm are 0, 7, 5, 20, and -4. That's for the Christmas room. If I come in here and I put those same numbers, the lights are different. So I could start there and start to adjust it. So on Ecamm, you get, what's these settings that you can use? So you get brightness, temperature, tint, saturation, and gamma. So it would be, the settings would be 0 for brightness, and then the next one down would be 7, 5, plus 20, -4. So all of them are in the plus except for the last one. And that's with no LUTs. And it winds up being a very happy camper. So, like Randy said, he bought the camera to put it in the studio, and you want to know something? I would put this in the studio in the Christmas room, replacing which one do you think? Which one do you think I would replace? The R6 Mark II. Ooh, I would replace it with this. So then I could put the R6 Mark II up for sale. But the picture from here is like gorgeous. The focus on this is better than the R6 Mark II. How is the shutter release button feel between both cameras? It has not brought attention to itself on either one. So they both do quite well. And it's the thing that has actually... Okay, so now my mouse decided to die. Okay, we've got to get the mouse going. Do I have to get closer? Nope, the mouse died. Okay. Bup, 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 bup. All right, so I'm going to have to walk over there and see if I can activate the mouse. Otherwise, I have not turned on the auto off on these comments. And maybe while I'm over here, I could do that. Okay. Okay, so now I have the mouse back. I think the battery's getting weak. I have the settings in the camera only using eCam. They're all set at 0. That's the best way to do it, Randy. So yes, sir. That's my baby. No, sir. I don't mean maybe. All right, so, all right. Automatically hide comment overlays after, how long should we make that for? Let's make it 70 seconds. And turn that on. Okay, automatically hide comment overlays after 70 seconds. Okay, so now I have that on. So if I lose the mouse again, it should go off after 70 seconds. So we'll try that, okay? So I'm going to come back with the mouse and see if we're actually out of range, which would imply that the batteries are getting weak on here. Speaking of batteries getting weak, let's see if I have, yeah, the mic is still going strong. The ZR is still going strong, no problems. It's the Peter that's having the problem. Okay, so, oh, I was going to turn this off, but I'm going to see after 70 seconds if it goes off. Oh, let's see how many minutes we have for the proofing. Okay, so I've got the timer running over here. 12 minutes. So in 12 minutes, we're going to turn the oven on, and we're going to turn the oven on for how long? Let's see how long the oven is going to go on. 25 minutes, and the bread needs to reach a temperature of 185, and for it to be soft and cakey, because I like it soft and cakey, and not the firmness of like the bread that you buy in the grocery store. I like to eat a piece of bread and have it turn me on. To taste so good that it's like, dang, oh, the comment went off. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So if the battery dies, so let's say I put this one on, okay, and that will be Randy. So now if the mouse doesn't work, I know in 70 seconds it'll clear it out. That'll give me a little buffer and a little time. So let's see, we got anybody in here after all this time? Good golly, I see 5. No, I see 6. 6 of you guys are still hanging out with me. How about saying hi? Okay. We're not doing much. We're just making bread and trying to chew up the time. So here we go. Thank you for Navy Dave came to my rescue, and he is Merry Christmas Peter, Nikon Z6 Mark II owner, just stopping by. Well, thank you for coming in and saying hi. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's see if I can edit this text. I like the Navy Dave to go red. How would I do that? Oh, I just pushed the red button. Isn't that nice? And then we click save. Now Navy Dave is in red. Okay, now I want the body of the text to, I'm not going to say it in case they don't have it. You won't get all flustered. What do I want it to do? It's regular, thin. I wanted to have a the shadow effect is supposed to be on. It is on. Well, it's not shadowing very well. Okay, so whatever. It's not doing what I want. All right, let me go get a little closer again. Gosh, I get more exercise here. I should do the live show in the kitchen. I'm up and down and up and down and up and down. Okay. So what I really want is I want a black outline. Okay, that's what I want, because the white is going to get in too much. So I can do bold, I can do bold italic, I can do condensed black. What is condensed black? Well, that's weird. Okay, we'll look at that. We'll go 32. That's 36, dummy. 32. And click Save. Maybe we could see that a little easier. Okay, let's bring up a comment. I was thanking Navy Dave and thanking him for coming in. Okay, all right, so what I could do is the background color, text margin, border color is white. All right, how about if we change the border color? Should we change the border color to red? Yeah, that looks better. Okay, and let's check the background. Border width. Border is a little too thick. We'll do thinner, and we'll do a little bit of a radius on the corner. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now I can walk back. Walkity, walkity, walk. Here we go. And while I'm up, let's check and see what the time is on the proofing. The time is only 6 minutes left. Gosh, you talk a lot. Okay. So in 6 minutes, what's going to happen is I'm going to go over and turn the oven on to 350 degrees. And then in 25 minutes, we'll have bread. But I won't cut that bread. I will cut one that I made earlier today, because you need to wait about an hour. They say 30 minutes to an hour. So I never did address you, Dave, all that much. So he's saying, Merry Christmas, Peter, Nikon Z62 owner here. Just stopping by. And I really think that needs to be a little smaller. Let's go to 24 points. That's better. Okay. And we'll pull that a little bit farther down. Okay, so you can read it, and if I could read it, you guys should certainly be able to read it. So Dave, thank you for coming by. I appreciate it. Thank you for not staying silent. So we do have some people in here. Please say hi to me. Okay, I've been running this for an hour and 40 minutes, making bread live, which is a weird feeling, I have to tell you. But I did want to see how the ZR, and how is she looking to you? I think it looks not all that bad. I think it looks pretty good. The only thing I have to compare it to would be this guy, and this is the ZFC, which is tuned in. So I have to say that this camera and this camera, mighty close. I should actually save the settings on this. That's how much I like it. I should save the settings on this if I ever come back in here. This is a very nice setting. Okay, so I was saying I would pick the FX2 for myself. If I was buying a camera for Randy, I would pick the ZR. Okay, but I would love to have this camera in the Christmas room and have it replace the R6 Mark II, because I think this is a superior picture, superior focusing, superior sensor. Also have a Canon G3X bridge camera. Do you like that? I had a friend, his name is Justin, that bought one, got rid of it because he had the GX2 and he liked the GX2 better than the GX3, and then he went back to the GX3. Okay, so not a bad travel camera. Thanks for the fancy graphics. Yeah, I'm trying to get in there and get it set up. There we go. Okay, so if I lock the camera, it'll stay put. If I don't lock it, it'll be all over the place. So I'm just going to lock them down for the moment. And when I get annoyed because I locked them down, I'll just unlock it. So I'm locking them all rather than tiddling around with it. I even have an Olympus, but the camera got completely out of whack. So if I show this to you, you're not gonna like this. Okay, so this is the Olympus EM1 Mark II. Okay, why am I? It needs to. I can fix that. I can. I promise. I'll go over here and. All right, so this is full screen, so I can't fix that. And then I have this one, which is zoomed in, and I can fix this one. Too high, too low, too slow. It's not that bad, but a little bit of tuning is what it needs. All right, but this picture right here is marvelous. Absolutely. Okay, so let's turn this off. And nobody else going to say hi to me? You guys are just going to sit out there and nobody's going to say hi? Come on. You could say hello to me. I don't bite. Except there's a few. And I didn't do it. They did it to themselves, okay? But I'm not going to be mean about it, but they can go their way and I can go my way. And that's just the way I feel about it. Good luck to them. God bless them. But the welcome is not as it was before. All right, so what have I not run down? Cameras. We have done that. And the bread making, we have done that. Oh, Dave is here with us again. Takes great shots, 24 to 600 millimeter. He's talking about the GX3. Video is pretty terrible. Ooh, I'm surprised to see that word there. 1080p, and it's a bad 1080p. You mean that puppy doesn't do 4K? That's Canon. That's what I don't like. That GX3 would make a wonderful camera if they would update it. Put the dual pixel autofocus in there. Put 4K in there. I mean, they don't want to cannibalize their R7s and that kind of stuff, the R50s. That's what they want you to buy. All right, so let's take a look at the proofing. Okay. Okay, it has risen very nicely. Okay, and now I'm going to up the temperature to 350. I know you can hear me. Okay, 350. 350. And what are we going to do now on the timer? We're going to put 25 minutes. Okay, 25 minutes. All right, and I'm going to put this here because I'm going to pull it out of the oven in 24 minutes and something seconds. Okay, and now I need to talk to you for 24 minutes. Oh, Peter, what have you done? Okay, so I'm, what exactly am I doing here? I'm going to bring the bread and put it on the cooling rack. Okay, Now, I would do it in a specific way, but then you wouldn't see what's happening. So I've set it up so I can bring one of them and show you what I'm going to do. But I normally don't pull it out of the oven. Honestly, I don't pull it out of the oven. I will just pick it up by the parchment paper. It lifts up as easy as if I picked up a cup. Whoop! Just like that. So no pot holders, nothing. Just turn the oven off. Let the pans just sit in there, okay, and cool off until I'm ready to make bread again. And that's how easy it is. So now, how about if I do a sales job? There's not enough people in here to do a sales job, okay? So you don't have to do that. You can buy the bread from me and I will make it exactly what you just saw me go through, and I will ship it out. And it'll go out UPS. And instead of doing it yourself and buying the machines and doing everything, this is a sales job, okay? Doing everything on yourself, you just buy the loaves and it'll be one and done. Okay, so I don't know what else to tell you. That simplifies it for you. All right, so I do have a brain. So if I get up and I get the timer, and put the timer over here, I don't have to get up every 2 minutes to see how much time do we have left. Alrighty. Peter, on your cooking channel, can it live stream? Yes. Or just for, yes, live stream on YouTube. That's where the live streaming is done. Although I can with Ecamm, and so can you. We can live stream on Facebook. Actually, we could live stream on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. I could try that one. I did that once before. So what's the point? On your cooking channel, can it live stream? Yeah. Any YouTube channel can live stream. I think you have to enable it and do like one of those verify where they send you an email or something. So yeah, I have actually done live streams on the cooking channel. You can go over there and look for a live stream, but I might have taken it off and put it in a playlist because you know the reason why people don't like to come in and watch this. Okay, so Dave says, what's in the cup? It started out being coffee, which is hot, and now it's water from the refrigerator, which is cold. So one extreme to the other. And I can feel my voice starting to give out. How many subscribers do you have on the cooking channel? Ooh, I used to know that. I don't know. Let's say 5,000? Maybe more? So well, you could look it up and tell me. Because I don't know, and I can't go over and look it up now. This is not the cooking channel. So yeah, I put either a smoothie in my cups, cold water with ice in my cups. I will make iced tea. There's never liquor in my cups. I don't do liquor. I take blood pressure medication, and they don't go well with anything with liquor. So I haven't had liquor in 40 years. So whenever I started having to take the blood pressure medication. So, but I do receive communion, which is wine, but it's what? A teaspoon? Okay. Randy says I have 7,000? Holy gamoly, whatever it's called. That is pretty cool. Okay. There we go. You can do this on your cooking channel and leave the camera stuff on this channel. Yeah, but we went through that today and we decided we were going to do it here. So there was no, what did you say, stickers or something? Super stickers? Nothing like that happened. So, but that channel is also monetized. It's able to receive the, what do they call that? Where they people can give you $10, $1,000, or whatever it is that they want. Okay, super. I think it's super stickers. Guess what? This room is starting to smell absolutely amazing. So we only got 3 people in here now. So it's me, Randy, and maybe Davey, if he's still here. So I forgot that you had a cooking channel. It wouldn't have mattered. I wanted to do something for Christmas over here. Oh, super chat. That makes sense. Okay. Oh, stickers also. So see, I got one of those words stuck in my head. That's what happened. So 5 now. Yeah, we do have 5. I thought I saw 3. It's kind of hard to read this, Randy. It's kind of small. So it's Randy, me, and Davey. So Navy Davey, are you active in the Navy now or retired? What's your go-to coffee? I have a local roaster in Greenwood, Maine. Greenwood Bean. Great coffee. I don't have, well, I do have. I personally drink instant coffee, which don't shoot me. I know you're in the Navy, so you're good with the weapons, okay? But there is a name, La Touraine or something like that. That was a coffee that Dad used to like. La Touraine or something to that effect. It just sounds good. But I like the sugar and the cream. The coffee's in there, for that. So we only have 16 minutes of baking left, but the room is really starting to smell like a bakery. It actually smells heavenly, very heavenly in here. So now we're up to 7. So should I get into the cameras again? You know what's a sleeper camera? This guy right here. This little guy. This is the ZFC. Small camera, runs like a hands-on camera where everything is a button. You want automatic shutter, you put it over to the A. You want an automatic aperture, you put it over to the A. You want automatic ISO, you do have to put it to auto ISO. And it gives you a really nice picture. So this picture is I've run this for what, 2 years? So now this guy comes along, gives me an amazing looking picture, and it's like, wow, this sucker is good. Okay, and this is on the standard profile. I'm not even using the red. Shh, don't tell anybody. Okay, so I mean that gets a lot of people upset. You mean you've got that camera and you're not using the red profile? Well, French roast and hickory coffee for me. Oh, chicory. Okay. Well, frappe mocha, I was going to say, but you beat me to it. From McDonald's, cheaper and tastes better than Starbucks. Well, see, you guys are coffee, what do they call it when you specialize aficionados or something like that. Randy is one, and it seems like my good buddy here is also into, where did he go? Just a veteran, 5 years, 89 through 95. So you served 89 to 95. Okay. So I would say you're approaching your 50s now by knowing that that's the years that you served. So God bless you, and of course, thank you for your service. I say that to all my anybody that's in the service, okay? Even if I don't like you. You're willing to lay your life down to protect the country and my freedoms, you get a thank you, okay? And a big-hearted thank you at that. Connoisseurs, he's kind of a sewer for coffee. So Randy is kind of connoisseur of a coffee. Lucky, can you hear me, or should I not agitate him now? What time is it? Oh, it's almost midnight here. We got 13 minutes to go, and it smells heavenly in here. Oh my God. Oh my God. And when you see how I take it out, you're going to be impressed, even if you don't give a hoot, a crap about baking. It's like, I didn't know you could take it out that easy. It comes out as if I lubed it. Okay, let's keep it clean. Okay, so the connoisseur of coffee, Davy, and whoops, Peter doesn't want to do that. So you noticed what went on tonight, Randy? You noticed? You noticed? You got to think hard about what we don't talk about publicly. Okay? So that's it. And 12 minutes to fresh baked bread. Wouldn't it be nice if you could bake a fresh baked camera? So Navy, I haven't seen you in any of my channels, Dave. So that's very interesting. You see, 54, 55. I wasn't that far off. And thanks for the thanks. Been watching you since I had my Nikon. No kidding, D90. Love that camera. A friend of mine named Matt. He did the bad thing that you could do to your body, and you're gone forever. Such a heartbreaker. And his name was Matt Ballard. And we met, he was called Matt, Nikon Matt, and he had the D90. And so I introduced him to the fact that he could go up to ISO 800 on the D90 without a lot of degradation, because Nikon had a problem. The higher you went in the ISO, it would degrade very quickly. So he was afraid to go 200, 400 was a big deal. And I said, Matt, you could go to 800 and you wouldn't even notice the difference. Okay? If you're going to go to 100%, which we don't do on YouTube, honestly. And we became buddies, the closest of friends. And that's why, you know, you always blame yourself when something like that. I must have been able to see something like that was coming up. It just hits you right here because it's such a permanent thing, you know. In 3 weeks, it wouldn't have mattered, okay? But you can't fix it in 3 weeks. You're gone. So anyway, I feel bad. I know his children. When I was in the Army, the coffee grounds are never disposed of. Good. Just more grounds on top of the old ones. And it turns it into strong coffee. Well, what I used to do with the coffee grinds is I take them out of the machine. That's when we had the paper filters. Now we got these little cups. There's a machine over there and you pop it in. And I just run water through it. I make hot cocoa, I make coffee, I make tea. I heat up water for whenever I need hot water. And I think I might have 1 or 2 of the coffee cups here. So if you came here, you would probably put your favorite coffee cup into the, what's it called? What's the name of that thing? Starts with a K. Keurig? Kung or something like that? Keurig, okay. So that's the popular thing now. But I used to take the coffee grinds, and the coffee grinds, I would put them on the gardenia plants in the backyard. I put them on the basil plants that I got potted and planted out there. and they give out a really nice nitrogen. I remember Matt. Too bad. Rest in peace. Isn't that something? I'm surprised you remember him. He was a Nikon guy. And then he went, what did he go over to? He went through a lot of different cameras. And then one day I was texting and no answer, texting and no answer, and texting and no answer. And I got mad and I got a little nasty. Now I'm embarrassed. Okay. And it's because he wasn't on Earth anymore. It's so sad, honestly. Yeah, it's really a shame. So, what can I tell you? It's a permanent solution. Anybody that's listening, there's not a whole lot of people in here. But suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. No, you don't do suicide. That is not the way to handle anything. Okay, I'm trying to center this. I think my box is a little too big. Okay, I'm making it smaller so I can center it. Okay, now it's more centered. Let's lower it down. That looks better, and then we'll lock it back up. Okay. So, Davey, you remember Matt? He's such a good guy, okay? I knew him before he even had his 2 kids. Nothing we can do. I felt guilty for the longest time. But what are you going to do? The ZVE1 goes to 12,800 ISO for low light. No, you got it right. You got the right number, but you're forgetting something. At 12,800, that's the dual ISO where it starts at. So you could go ISO 6400, 8000, 10,000, go to 12,800, clean again. What's up with that? That's an amazing camera. You know, I wouldn't buy that size sensor again, but what an amazing camera. I would go for the A7C Mark II if they upgraded it to an A7C Mark III. So the chances are the A7C Mark III would have that new bionic, whatever they call it, Bions chip, where it's got the processing and the AI in one processor, and it lowers the heat, because that's what the A7C Mark II and some of these smaller bodies are subject to the heat, because they cram so much stuff in there. So if they put that new processor in the A7 III and they put a full-size HDMI, I think that camera, it's got everything else that I need. I mean, I'd like it to have a fan and everything, but I have that camera. I have the FX2, which is why I have the FX2. Full-size HDMI, dual card slots. What else does it have? It's got the AI processor in it. It doesn't do 60p full frame, but I don't care. So it's not one of those, it's something that I could make a complete video out of it just to get views. But honestly, I don't give a crap. Okay, it could do crop 60p. I'm fine with it. I use a lot of lenses that are crop sensor lenses on my FX2. And it's just absolutely wonderful. Now, what's really fantastic with the Nikon, which is what we're watching now, this is the ZR, let's make sure. Yep, this is the ZR. This is the wider view of the ZR. Okay, is Randy introduced me to the Megadap adapter. Megadap 21 adapter. And I think they got the 21 plus now or something. It's not a 22, but it's one step higher. Okay, and I could use all my Sony lenses on my Nikon and they work great. When I say great, it's a capital G-R-E-A-T. Like some adapters, you get handicapped. And when you're handicapped, you don't shy away from the adapter. I don't shy away. I put the Sony 11mm on this camera right here. I have put the Sony 11mm 1.8 lens on here, crop sensor lens, and it is better than wonderful. and it is fantastic, and it runs fantastic. So Randy says, Keurig. Oh, that's the coffee machine. Yeah, I got one of those sitting over here. Lucky would eat the coffee grinds. Ooh. Either he will die from the caffeine poisoning or drive me crazy. I think he would drive you crazy. Honestly, I think he would drive you crazy. So I meant dual high ISO. Okay, so yeah, the ZVE1, it's I think 640 and 12,800. Crazy, right? That is absolutely crazy. Boy, I am liking this camera more and more. Randy, I have to give it up. It's got to move on. My first camera was a Fuji FinePix 1400. Fuji made wonderful cameras and still does. Okay, 1.3 megapixel. Remember that one? I don't remember the actual model, but I've had three. I've had 3 Fuji cameras. 4. The very first one was a film camera. And my dad used to say, you can't take a bad picture with that if you tried. And that's with a film camera. And it was a rangefinder. You turn the wheel, and then the 2 images become one. Okay, and when they become one, you're in focus. Okay, that was the film one. But the Fuji cameras were fantabulous. Okay, so that is excellent. All right, so let's get up off of this chair because I got myself a little too comfortable, because in 2 minutes we got to pull the bread out of the oven. Now you'd think I need the mitts, right? I don't, but I will use them so I could show you what I'm going to do, because I can't show you over at the oven. I'd have to move the cameras around. And once you set up a studio, any of you guys that are running a studio, you know once you set up a studio, you don't want to move it around. So, boy, if this thing isn't delivering a really nice picture, huh, Randy? Look at this. Davey, how you like this picture? You liking this picture? It's doing pretty good. So, we're getting ready to pull the bread out of the oven. I will bring it over here. I'll have something to play with for a minute, because I just had to sit and talk for 35 minutes. And I didn't know what to talk about. No script, just chatter. Well, you know what they say. Some people, you can just give them a microphone and they're off and running. Let's make sure that I'm still, yep, the microphone's still running. The ZR is still running. So whatever adapter I have in there. Oh, Randy, look up for a 65 watt PD adapter. They have one that's like $19.95 on sale for $7 or $8. It might be gone by now. So I ordered that. I can keep it in the kitchen or wherever I need to take this camera as long as it works. The only negative is I don't know where they're shipping it from, but it doesn't come till after Christmas. So I probably won't be able to test this. So when does this camera have to move on? It moves on when? It moves on either after Christmas or after New Year's. So if the adapter comes between Christmas and New Year's, then I'll know if it works on here or not. Okay. So, all right, let's get ready. Let's move the water out of the way. Let's put the water over here. I used to play, Dave, if you're still awake, I used to play the Dean Martin thing. Whoa, this water is awfully good, you know, because Dean Martin is one of my favorite singers. So that was his shtick. So let's go to the wide, so when I bring this over, you could watch it. Let's take this out of the way so you can get a clear shot right through here. It's more like this, okay? All right, so, all right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the thermopen and I'm going to test for temperature. Anything over 180 to 185, and this puppy is coming out, okay? So I'm putting in the thermopen in, okay? Oh, 190. This is hotter than I wanted it to go. I like a cake-like consistency. So let's pull these puppies out. Out, out, out. Stop that cooking. Okay. So, all right, I'm not going to use the pot holders. Ouch! I'm going to pull out the bread. That was the top of the oven. And I just pulled the parchment paper. See, this is the parchment paper. It comes right out. The pan is still in the oven. The pan is still clean. So all I have to do is grab two of the corners. Parchment paper doesn't get hot. Grab two of the corners and walk it over. And there we have it. And I'll just prove it to you. Here's the pan, completely clean. It just lifts right out of the pan. Parchment paper and all. No pot holders needed. Okay, so I'll put this back in there because they're clean. Close up the oven. Boom, boom, boom. We'll bring the thermal pen over here. I cooked these a little overdone, darn it. I like the cake consistency. It just tastes so good. Okay, so we'll go in. Okay, 194, 197. Okay. So it should still have a little bit of cake consistency. This one's 203. Okay, see it comes out clean. So we are done baking the bread. Okay, let's move this out of the way. Let's go to the overhead camera. All right, let's bring one of these loaves over here so you could see. Okay, so this is what the loaf looks like. Wrong direction. This is what the loaf looks like. It's too hot for me to grab. Okay, but I could just roll it over. I thought I could just roll it over. Let's do it the way I normally do it. Peel off the parchment and then put it right back down. It's muscle memory. I'm usually looking at that camera over there. Okay, so now I will do the same thing with this one. Roll it over on its side, roll it back, and we got two full-size fresh loaves, okay, and this is what it looks like. Okay, so I will do you one better. Okay, so just 4 hours ago, no, it's probably about 7 hours now. I forgot what time. It's after midnight here. Just to show you how fast the bread goes in this house. This is what the inside of the loaf looks like. Whoops. That's what the inside of the loaf looks like. And that's how much we have eaten of this loaf. Okay. You can't see that, can you? All right, so let's pull this back here. Okay. So that's how much of this bread we have eaten today. 2 people. And I would say 1.5 is me. Okay. So what we can do is take this. Where did this bag come from anyway? So before I throw it away, they will go into this bag when it cools down, and it'll get vacuum sealed for you guys that want to order. There's nobody watching, but in the future, if you're seeing this, and it'll be sealed for sanitary sake, and then it'll get shipped like that. It's not just put in a bag. It's actually, I'm very sanitary oriented. So now, from the bread that I made this afternoon, okay, I'm going to cut a slice. Okay. So when I say it's cakey, I don't know if I can show you. Trying to center it. If I press my fingers together here, it compresses. That's what would happen to a piece of cake. If you cut a piece of chocolate cake and you squished it between your fingers, it'll stay compressed. It becomes doughy. And that makes this bread, oh my God, so amazing. You wouldn't know that it's a milled wheat bread, which is one of the things that makes this bread amazing. It's like, oh, milled wheat bread, I'm going to have to eat a chewy, dry bread. No, this bread is actually, I can eat the rest of this loaf. Oh, that's what this is from. My bread was in this bag. Boy, for you, if you don't have a brain, you better have feet. Now I can make myself a cup of coffee, decaf for this time of the night, and have a nice piece of bread. These things will cool off. I will bag them into a bag like this, and after that, they'll go in the freezer, and these two are probably going to get shipped out to Jim, okay? Because he's one of the people that ordered it. Somebody else ordered it too. I'm in the bread business. It's an act of God, okay? So the ZR has actually run from 10 o'clock to 12:17 is my time here. 2 and almost a half hours. No overheating. This room is now, let's see what the temperature is in here. 81 degrees. Yes, I can feel my forehead getting sweaty. Okay. Now this bread that I'm eating, it is like eating medicine. It's going to sweep out my intestines. Tomorrow morning, I will be going potty. And that makes you healthier. I mean, we joke and stuff like that. But if you keep your intestinal tract clean, that solves a lot. That's why God wants you to eat the wheat, okay, and meat. Okay, so I lost track. Let's go to Davy. Looks good. A warm slice with some butter. It really is good, Dave. It really, 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 really is good. Best time to make a submarine sandwich when the bread is straight out of the oven. Like right now, in about 30 minutes, it'll still be quite warm. Slice it like that, okay, instead of the short way, the long way. Fold it in half, make yourself a submarine sandwich. Somebody out there knows how to eat. When cutting a slice, Lucky is hungry. He could smell that bread of life all the way from Miami. And you want to know something? I bet he can. Goodbye, everyone. Oh, Randy's going. Happy holidays. Stay safe. Keep smiling. Okay. Yep, we're going to do the exit in a moment. Cheers to Randy from Dave. Randy's giving a thumbs up. And okay, guys, we have successfully done a live stream with the ZR Nikon 50mm 1.4 for 1 and almost a half hour. I'm sorry, 2.5 hours. Mostly on this camera. The other ones are still here with me too. This guy is still with me. The GH4 up on the ceiling is with me. Okay. And even the little Olympus, which I have left out of everything, is with me also. Okay, so that is what we've got going. This is the last show before Christmas. Christmas is next Thursday. So Friday, God willing, and the bridge isn't up, we'll get together for a little bit, right? So thank you for those that actually stayed. Let's see, we still got 7 people in here. 7 of you guys are watching. Doesn't anybody want to say hi to me out of 7 people? Seriously? You make me almost hurt my feelings, but I know how it feels to be shy. Okay? So, I'm just going to, it's my show. I'm going to enjoy a Christmas bite. If this bread was a little sweeter, it'd be a cake. I have a recipe that I really, really love, and it comes from my mother's recipe. Okay? I just brought it into the whatever century we're in. What century are we in now? So, Randy says 2 hours, 18 minutes, 2 hours and 20 minutes now. So, you guys, thank you so much. Let me catch something before it falls. Ah, here's where my glass of tea went. All right. Merry Christmas, everybody. This is the last time we'll be together live, unless I go live during the week. So God bless you. Let's remember it's Jesus' birthday. For those of us that are in that faith, we can still exercise it in this country. And that's the reason I have the Christmas room. I don't even have to say anything, and it celebrates his birthday all year long. Shh, don't tell anybody. But that's why I have the Christmas room. All right. I love you guys. We'll say goodnight. God bless you. See you next Friday, God willing, and the bridge isn't up. And my goal is the sky and not the grave. Bye.